Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to start a tutorial on design patterns. So I named it Design Patterns for Beginners because I am planning to help the beginners with understand and to understand the design patterns. So yeah, I'm actually excited to be sharing the knowledge with you all. Design patterns are nothing but they are the proven solutions to a common problems, programming problems that that can help you build robust and scalable software efficiently. So I have used two words here like robust software and and scalable software. So what does it mean? Like what softwares can be considered robust and how you can scale softwares and how what role does design patterns play in it. We will be discussing those things as part of this series. Uh, so by end of this series you will be like respected by any developer or any technical guy because you will be building such softwares. So without any delay, let's get started. So this is just an introduction to design patterns, and as part of this tutorial, this particular video, I will be mentioning a lot of design patterns that you may not have heard before. I might be using vocabulary that is not familiar to you. So like don't get nervous, or don't think that this is not the right series that you want to invest time. So yeah, definitely just stick with the series for a while, and you will be understanding each and every term that I'll be using here, and you will be able to understand what design patterns that I'm mentioning by end of this series. So when I will, like, for example, if I mention abstract factory, you may not have heard it before, but there will be a time in this series where we'll be learning the abstract factory. So it's completely okay for you to not know anything and still just patiently listen to the series, because you will eventually learn it. What are design patterns? So what exactly are design patterns? Simply, they are reusable templates or blueprints for solving recurring problems in software design. So recurring problems, like what do you mean by recurring problems? So when we develop a application or a software, we might have to do certain things that are that are repetitive with that are recurring. Like for example, creating objects, handling dependencies, accessing resources. So there are a lot of things that are recurring. So for example, for creating objects, we have certain design patterns like the factory pattern, abstract factory pattern, builder, prototype, and singleton. This can help with handling object creation in a flexible and reusable way. For example, a factory pattern is a design pattern used in software development to create objects. It provides a way to create objects without specifying the exact class or type in advance. In simple language, think of it like ordering a burger at a fast food restaurant. You don't need to know how the burger is made. You just tell a cashier what type of burger you want, and they give it to you. In the same way, factory pattern lets you request an object, just like how you request a burger, without worrying about how it's created, making your code more flexible and easier to maintain. Similarly, for handling dependencies, we have patterns like dependency injection, facade, and mediator help manage dependencies between components and decouple them for each other. And also, like for accessing resources, we have singleton, adapter, and proxy pattern provide provide the controlled access to resources like database, logs, APIs, etc. So basically, design patterns are they are a tested ways for structuring your code to handle things like object creation, organizing objects and classes and algorithms. Learning design patterns is like equipping yourself with a toolkit of solutions that can help right away. So, next, why should I learn patterns? So there are key benefits to learning to learn design patterns. First, they provide you with problem solving toolkit. uh, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel each time. So whatever the problems you are facing in building a huge code or a large scale application, all those applications are addressed by people before you, and they have come up with certain design patterns. So you don't have to think of how you can solve the issues that you are getting if you already know the design patterns that we will be discussing as part of this series. And also they also enhance your programming skills by teaching object oriented design principles. Additionally, design patterns, like patterns establish a common vocabulary for you to communicate effectively with other developers. Criticism of patterns: if you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail to you. So some may argue that design patterns, like using design patterns too much, is like having a hammer, so everything looks like a nail. The key to use design patterns is to use them judicially and not force a pattern if it does not fit the problem at hand. You should think design patterns as guidelines, rather than as rigid rules. The one of the problems that I faced, when I learned design patterns, is that I want, like, my first design pattern was singleton. So I wanted to implement singleton everywhere that I want to. It doesn't matter whether if it is required or not. Just I wanted to implement them. So this is something you should be careful. You should use them as a guideline, and you should not be forcing them on the applications. Types of design patterns. Now let's get into the main categories of design patterns. So first we have creational patterns, which provide object creation mechanism to increase flexibility. And then we have structural patterns that explains you how to compose objects and classes into large structures. So like the difficulties in maintenance of the application, or it helps you with the reusability of the code. Structural patterns helps promote modularity and code reusage. Without them, it becomes challenging to extract and reuse component, leading to like the redundant code, duplication of code, and increased development effort. It will we will deep dive into problems and how each structural pattern addresses which problem in this series later. And then finally we have a behavioral pattern which focuses on the communication between the objects. No inconsistent user experience, scalability issues, like large software systems may require the ability to handle increased loads and user interaction. And without a proper behavioral pattern, scaling the system can be less efficient, and the application itself will be more error prone. So approach to learning. So here we will be discussing what will be the approach we'll be taking as part of this series to learn design patterns. So when learning design patterns, you should try to study the intent, motivation, the class structure, and the code examples. So for example, when I say intent, like what do you mean by intent? Now, so intent of a design patterns refers to its primary purpose, or the problem it aims to solve in a specific context. Like each design pattern addresses a particular design or architectural challenge by providing a reusable and proven solution. And then there is motivation. The motivation behind a design pattern describes the background and the context in which the pattern is useful. It explains the problem or issues that developers commonly encounter, and why this pattern offers an effective way to address those kind of issues. And structure, the class structure of a design patterns, it outlines how the pattern is typically implemented in terms of classes, objects, and the relationships between them. It illustrates the key components and interactions within the pattern. And then you know code examples. Code examples are actual codes, snippets or illustration that demonstrate the application of a design pattern in Java language here. These examples show how to use the pattern to solve real world problem, providing practical understanding of its implementation. So that will be the approach to learning design patterns as part of this series. So how to learn design patterns. To to truly learn design patterns, you should study them, practice them, implement them in the code. So studying design patterns, so one of the first steps in mastering design patterns is to study them thoroughly. Design patterns are like the building blocks that you can use to construct your robust and efficient software. So understanding the intent, motivation, structure, and the structure of each pattern is very crucial. And then practice, like implementation. So once you have study design patterns, it is crucial to practice implementing them in code. You can start with simple examples and gradually work your way up to more complex scenarios. This hands-on experience helps you to solidify your understanding of design pattern, and then collaborate with others. Collaboration is a great way to enhance your knowledge of design patterns. Working on projects with other developers who have experience in design patterns can expose you to different perspectives and approaches. You can learn from their experience and share your insights as well. So collaboration with others is one of the best ways to learn programming in general, and as well as it applies to design patterns. And then we have analyzing the existing code. So analyzing open source projects that you can use, that uses design patterns, can be very incredibly instructive. You can see how patterns are applied in real world scenarios and learn best practices from experienced developer. So this is a fantastic way to gain practical insights. As part of this series, we'll be discussing a lot of design patterns, and each time I discuss any design patterns, whenever I publish the tutorial, I will also be sharing the code for that design pattern. So I will share the link with you, so you can get the code, to see how I have implemented them and how it is being used and all. So yeah, the code will all be also there. Singleton. In our next tutorial, we have something really exciting lined up for you. So we are going to dwell into the powerful design pattern that every developer should have in their toolkit. So in the next tutorial, we will explore the ins and outs of singleton, understand its key concepts, and see how to implement it in real code. The best part is, once you grasp the singleton pattern, you will be equipped to solve complex problems in your software projects efficiently. So, if you want to unlock the mysteries of singleton design pattern and supercharge your software development skills, I invite you to subscribe to my channel right now. And by subscribing, you will be the first to know when we release the next tutorial. And trust me, you don't want to miss it. So get ready to embark on an exciting journey into the real world of software design patterns. Subscribe, stay curious, and let's explore the single pattern together. See you in the next tutorial. Thank you.